Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. We are indeed back here today again in survival this time. So it's, part of the survival series last episode, not really in survival, but I guess it was also a part of the story of the journey of things that we had to get done in order to end back here again. And so today we start things back off in a place that we haven't really been for a little while, surprisingly enough, which is my base island. Now, I thought we'd start things off here today because we're probably going to end up back in the witch farm, or we're definitely going to end up back in the witch farm because we've got some work to do there. But I thought we would start things off today here in the main island, or in the main storage place, or my main base. I don't know why I'm confused about what this place is anymore. But we're back here again because we want to show you a little bit of progress update that I've been doing that I thought might be worth mentioning, and maybe a little bit more of what the project's going to be when we move forward from this point as well. So if you do remember, and I don't blame you guys if you don't, mostly because I haven't been here for a little while, and even if I did, it'd be kind of weird if you did totally remember everything. You might notice there's quite a lot more greenery around here than you might have previously remembered, and you can actually tell that more so when you look in like areas like this, and then you kind of come over to an area like this, and you realize it all looks a little bit naked and bare on this side. Well, the reason for that is because whilst I was flying around my island a couple weeks ago, I was having a look and I was like, something about this doesn't look too right. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And after a little bit of thinking, I realized that the amount of trees that we had around the island, like over here, it looked too separated. It kind of felt like it didn't really fit into the theme of this island, which is like an overgrown mushroom infested island that I have settled in with my technology. And you can kind of tell like by the build design, right? Everything's like technology-ish based. They all look like weird alien shapes, and it's all like contraption based stuff that I've added in myself. So I was like, it doesn't totally make sense to have this like open space in here, and then there's not really much else going on. And then I could like totally put in things like bamboo, sugarcane, some flowers here and there. That would probably bring the whole place out a little bit as well, and that is probably potentially the plan anyway, to do at some point. But I thought in the meantime, I think a way to kind of thicken things out a little bit and make things look a little bit nicer was to just go ahead and add more trees to the place, and it kind of gives the place a nice, an even bigger look. If anything, it makes the whole place look even larger and a bit more uninhabited but inhabited at the same time. Bit weird for me to totally explain, but I just thought it was a good idea. So going forward, the plans are going to be to do some more of the bushiness around the island. I'm going to do all of these areas over here. Everything basically that's available in the Mushroom Island will be bushed up quite a bit nicely, just to give everything a little bit more thickness. Then again, we'll go through with some more plant details like the sugarcane and the bamboo and stuff like that, wherever we see fit. And we also need to do a lot more adding of the larger mushrooms as well. So like these boys will have to be a bit more frequent here and there. In fact, I actually made some changes to the mushrooms as well. So they've got a bit more like angles going on. They've got these nice little joiners here. The mushrooms look a little bit more alive and a bit more interesting than they used to. So I'm going to take these kind of like these blueprints of mushrooms and plop them around the island a bit more often. In addition to that, obviously, we're going to add more trees. And when you're walking around down here, which I don't do often enough, and I feel like I should try and do a little bit more often because it really immerses you a bit more into the game than just flying around all the time. And when you're walking around, things look a little bit cooler. When you go through a place like this, and then you like kind of pop out into a location, you can kind of see like the vast, like the big old buildings that kind of pop through. So it just gives the whole place a little bit more of a nicer look. So that's plans that we're gonna also start doing probably in this episode, maybe next episode, who knows, but we're going to go ahead and put that in motion. I also kind of forgot about a project that I started quite a long time ago, which is the polar bear sanctuary over here that we were supposed to have going on. Didn't totally get to finish this because I was waiting for an ice farm. I wanted to build an ice farm so I could get enough ice. I have now got enough ice and an ice farm, and I still haven't totally done it. So yeah, that was kind of my fault, to be honest with you. But hey, I've been busy with other things, I've been doing witch things and perimeter thingies, and sometimes you just kind of get lost in one project and then move on to another project. But that's things that are going to stop soon, all right? We're not going to have any more of that happening anytime soon. We're going to be sticking our heads into one project, make sure that we're full steam ahead with it, and that's kind of the objective of today's episode. I think in order to give you an update on what's actually going to happen here, we should head over to the point of location, or the point of interest, should I say, which is going to be the witch farm perimeter. So let's go ahead and head through, and let's have a look on what plan A is for today. So here we are again back in the witch farm perimeter, and so I wanted to kind of give you a breakdown of what we want to do today, and it's pretty straightforward. The first mission of today, should I say, the first main part of today is going to be to kind of clean things up just a little bit. So the first thing we've got to do is knock down the remainder of the TNT bombers that we had hanging around. There's only 2 of them, so 1 there and 1 there. The next thing to do is to, well, we're going to see if this is actually even going to be a part of the plan at all. But my plan is to potentially remove this little system here. And the only reason I want to remove it is because what we're going to do today is probably going to require a bit of space around here. And that is to add the update suppressor we're going to be using for the portals. So in order for me to add the update suppressor, I may or may not need this space cleared. I'm not 100% sure. It might be quite a bit down, so it might not be in the way at all, in which case we're going to go ahead and keep it. No big deal. If we do, then, well, we'll figure that out as we go along. But step 1, first of all, let me go ahead, and I was just checking if I got my tools, which I do. We're only going to need 1 bit here. Let's go ahead and knock these bad boys down. Alright, that is step 1 done. The TNT bombers are out of the way. I'm actually going to go ahead and just keep the beacons up for a little bit, because I have a feeling I'm going to end up needing them again at some point to clear out a little bit of the sides and stuff like that here and there. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more work for that to be done. So step 1 of removing machines is completo. Step 2 now is to start getting the update suppressor made up. So actually, hold on, let me land somewhere so we can talk in a bit more peace. Oops. So the main part of the update suppressor for me has mainly been done, which was kind of learning how I'm going to use the system. And I've also made it so that I've actually made the layout already in creative, where I just need to kind of take the schematic and put it into this world. And that way it should be hopefully straightforward of me just placing the blocks in order to get all the suppressor and stuff working properly. And then the hard part obviously is going to be dealing with the constant crashes and mistakes that are going to be made during the update suppression. However, the main thing is that during this time I've actually learned how to use the update suppressor a little bit better. I've gone through some trials and tribulations, learned a few tricks and tips here and there. So I think we're going to have a good time with actually making that thing work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over into creative. You're not coming with me this time because you're going to see everything done in survival for once. And I'm going to go and grab the update suppressor. We're going to get the thing built up first. And then hopefully we can try and suppress some portals together. I can give you a little bit of a rundown of how the thing kind of works. I mean, I'm not going to give you an in-depth explanation here because I'm no update suppressor expert. Bit of a tongue twister there. I'm not an update suppressor expert, so I'm going to give you like the kind of idiot's guide to it, and hopefully if you're as much of an idiot as I am, this should be somewhat useful for you. So with a click of a finger, we will have update suppressor built. No, wait, hold on, I'm doing a time lapse. Never mind. Time lapse for update suppressor thingy stuff. All right, I'll see you there. So here we are back again in survival. I mean, I guess you didn't come over to creative with me, so that was kind of a pointless point. But anyway, here we are, and I was going to actually jump straight to a time lapse, which is what was supposed to happen. But I thought before we go there, maybe it'd be interesting to show you some stupidities that probably occur when you're making things and you don't pay attention in creative, and then you end up bringing them here into survival and realize you're a big dum-dum. So in the time that I spent in creative making this whole set up here to make sure we could get the portal loading done correctly, I kind of forgot about one thing, and it was quite a major thing, to be honest with you, and that's the main part of the update suppressor, which is over there. Well, when I done it in creative, I kind of made pretty big perimeter for the, for the testing world, and I kind of forgot that I don't have the space for it over here. So now I'm kind of stuck with 2 options of what to do, and if you haven't already figured out what's going on, by the way, there's supposed to be like a bunch more of this stuff over here. In fact, you can see how much it probably is. It's quite a significant amount. Mostly, pretty much all of this is supposed to be the update suppressor. Luckily, it's actually only like a few blocks high. Like, I think it's only like 6 or so blocks high. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So, I have 2 options. I can either start the whole thing again, go back into creative, move that thing over here, then change the update suppressor order so I'm doing it properly. Or I could just chip away at what's in the wall and, temporarily have some hole in there and then put the update suppressor in there for now. I mean, it might not be the worst thing to do. I mean, I'm doing a time lapse anyway at this point, so I'm thinking maybe I'll just make the hole and build it in there. You know what? We're going to do that. Let's do that. I'm going to pay for my stupidity, and because I've kind of done the R&D into the update suppressor, well, actually, in all transparency, I didn't really do any of the R&D. I'd done some R&D earlier on, and it was pretty crappy update suppressor update order because it required me to reset up the update suppressor every time I made any action. So if I broke a block, I'd have to go set the reset the update suppressor up again, go back again, play something, reset it. And I spoke to Sensei about it, and he said, no, you're stupid, don't do that. Well, he didn't actually say I was stupid, but he said that was probably not the best thing to do. So he actually jumped into creative with me again, and being the nice guy that he is, he actually helped me set this whole thing up all over again. So big shout out to him. And again, guys, if you do want to check out all of his details, he goes into the details about update suppressors and, you know, EOL farms and all that kind of stuff. Go check out his video. I'll leave the links in the description down below. I'll probably be doing that until I'm done with this whole project, because he's kind of been a huge part of this whole thing for me. So all stupidity and grindy boy aside, I'm going to go ahead and make whole, start building update suppressor, and then I can actually start making the portals, to be honest with you. And once the portals are, you know, en route to being made, we're kind of like already in progress of making the witch farms. And what I'm actually thinking about doing is that once I've set up the update suppressor and I've got the witch farms running, before I've even set anything else up in terms of like the return chambers and then like the killing chamber and the collection chamber here on the overworld side, I can just have them falling through on the nether side and have the witch farm running as normal for a little while whilst I'm doing all of this, so I can still actually make use of this whilst I'm setting everything else up. So that's going to be good news. Enough talking, let me do the thing, you'll see other things. Okay, let's go into time lapse. Boop. Okay, as usual, I hope you enjoyed my lovely time lapse. I tried to make this one a little bit fancier, but I actually couldn't really be bothered because it was just me building this big old hideous thing, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. So the situation with this whole thing now is that I finally got it set up and kind of got it working. I probably should have done a little bit more on-screen showing of how I needed to like debug this thing a little bit, because there was a couple issues initially when I set this up. The first of which being that the rails wouldn't actually light up properly how they should. So I ended up crashing the server a couple times in order to set this up. And actually, even more important point was I actually needed to end up upgrading my my Minecraft edition, which I wasn't too happy about, if I'm totally honest with you. I ended up putting it up to 116.5, which I've been trying to put off for quite some time. And I ended up updating it because of a special little carpet rule that basically stops you from crashing your server completely every single time you do some sort of update suppression kind of thing. There are a few occasions where even like within the rule of the update suppression, you actually do end up crashing the server a few times, which I thought was a little bit annoying. So I just added the carpet fix to the game, and then that made things a little bit easier. One of the things that kept happening for some reason was every time I turned it on, it wouldn't register things all that well, and I don't know why. It wouldn't turn the powered rails on. But after a few on-offs and actually I needed to add this thing at the top here. I spoke to Sensei about it. He said it wasn't all that important, but for some reason it ended up helping the issue out some way or another. So this little sticky piston with redstone block on top of this situation seemed to have done the job. So yeah, update suppressor is up and running. And actually, I was a little bit impatient, so I haven't actually had too much time to do recording recently because I've been busy with like IRL stuff, and then when I come back from work, I've got other things around me I need to take care of, so I kind of need to play without, you know, too much recording going on. So I have done some update suppression. In fact, I've done quite a bit of update suppression at this point by myself. So I'll run you through some of the bits here. So as far as the portals go, I've done all of these ones, and I've actually done the ones on the other side over there as well. So I mentioned to you guys earlier on that I built this whole thing up in Creative first, and then I kind of used the schematic to make sure I was doing everything correctly. And actually, the whole thing was relatively painless. I think the best thing to do is always to actually do all the hard work and get all the angst out in Creative first, because you have the infinite blocks and you can fly around and everything's just a lot easier in Creative. So having done that, that made this process a lot easier. So the reason why we are back here now, though, is I thought it would be good if we could go through a little maybe a little test for you guys just to show you a little bit of update suppression, show you how it works. Maybe you can get a little bit of an idea of it yourself. So again, I'll come up on this side here, and you can see these portals are also done. So after I've done these portals, I'm leaving all of these up, by the way, because you never really know if something goes wrong when you're building the actual witch huts themselves. Maybe I'll update one of these blocks here and the portal shatters. It could be something that definitely happens. So I'm gonna make the smarter decision here to not get rid of them just yet, because it's not all that important anyway. But what I thought we should do now is let's go through, one of the portals here and show you how things work. So let me grab my essential tools and we'll get going. In fact, I actually only need a flint and steel in addition to what I have here. Let me go and grab that first. All right, so you can see I already got started on the portal on here already. So one of the portals is done. I had a bit of issues with this one, but it turned out that one of the minecarts that was supposed to be in place on, let's go have a little look on one of these things. Sometimes the sticky piston and that redstone block there, if I drop down, sometimes when things go wrong, this sticky piston and redstone block can just get pushed into the minecart and then detached from the sticky piston, which doesn't allow the redstone signal to update the portal suppressor. So it becomes a whole hoo-ha. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out what was wrong when it was pretty straightforward. So it's good. You get to learn a few things here and there as well. So let's give you guys a quick little lesson on how portal update suppression works, I guess. So what you want to do initially now, maybe I'll start off all over again. I'm going to go ahead and break this thing so you can see it from the beginning, just so you can see how the first block would work as well. So if you think I'm going to get into the full mechanics of update suppression, I think you found the wrong video. Again, I'll leave Sensei's video in the link in the description where he runs over it in a bit more detail. Ultimately, you're just budding some rails to send updates through, and somehow the budded rails do stuff and then make things work. That's the idiot's guide to it. I actually have a recording of getting the full breakdown of how everything worked, but it's not really my thing to show. But I'll show you how how this little section here where you actually do the breaking works, because ultimately this is just making sure you've got the right stuff in the right place. After that, pretty much everything works the same. So what you would start off by doing is lighting the portal like so. If the update suppressor is in the right position, which it should actually be right now anyway, I'm going to go ahead and break this one, and we should have, there we go. You can see the portal did not break in that scenario, and I just realized I don't have any powered rails, but I actually do. All those realizations in a short space of time. Anyway, so you would you break off the first portal block here. There's actually 2 rows, because I'm not just breaking off the top rows, I'm also breaking off the bottom row as well. So we're only leaving the center portal here. So once you break off the first block along this line, you would then place a rail down. You then go and add another redstone block here, because that's then going to power this rail here. So basically the signal only runs to a certain point of these rails. So before this redstone block was here, the signal would reach up to here. Now that you've added this one, it should extend by 1 more, which would be to that one there. And then we can go ahead and break the other one on this side. And you can see the portal has been sliced now. So that's one portal gone. And that means we can actually go ahead and remove the top layer of obsidian here if you want to. I'm assuming you're going to want to when you're doing this, because, why else are you doing this in the first place if that's not the objective here? I always imagine the top block would be the one that you want to break, but obviously if you're using it for like a drop chamber or something, which I will be doing later as well, you're probably going to want to break the bottom one, but all the same. Now for breaking the bottom block, you don't actually need to do anything just yet. You can leave everything as it is and go ahead and break the bottom block. And that lets, you can see the portal still standing. And what we do is we go ahead and place another rail there. Now, before we break the one on the other side, what we want to do is come over to this side, put another redstone block. And then we come back over here, and then this should be safe to break. And there you go. That is one floating portal in the middle. Now, actually, what you can do, if you really want to, is add some signs. There is an orientation where you can put some signs, and then you can go ahead and break these side portal blocks here as well. I don't really need that to be a thing, so I'm not going to do it. I want there to be some blocks on the side, because if I add my own blocks on the side, it's going to update the portal and break it, and I kind of want there to be at least one just so I can attach the glass drop chute to, so we're going to leave that on that side. Now the next step to do is basically just to copy the same process over a couple times. So this is probably where things vary just a tiny bit when it comes to the next portal, because what you Let me get myself back into position again. So what you need to do, if I can land properly, oh dear lord, this is a disaster. Okay, so once you've done the bottom portal, what you want to do is break the rail. You then want to place another block, whatever it be. I'm going to use obsidian in this case. And then you go ahead and place the next rail. Want to light the portal, obviously, which is, you know, the smart thing to do. So you go ahead and light the portal. This should break fine. And then basically, same thing again. Add one of those. Add another redstone block. Run to the other side. This should be okay for us to slice the top portal. And there you go. That's the top portal done. And then again, I can just go ahead and break the top layer of obsidian as I would like. And then I do the same thing I did before. I would jump back down. Break the other portal, which I can do anyway. Give me a second. And then I can go ahead and break this block down the bottom here. Got a little bit scared there for some reason. I can't really tell you why. And then run back again. Add the redstone block. Run back here again. And then break this one. And that's basically the process of doing all of these. So I'm going to do all of these ones. And then I've got one more line I need to add over there, which you can't see because I haven't added either in the obsidian platform nor the update suppressor arm to that side. And that's it. That's pretty much the entirety of update depression done. Now, it is update depression, but only in creative if you're smart enough, or not smart enough, if you think logically ahead and think, hey, I'm going to get this out of the way before I go into survival to do it. So as long as you get all that done, this should be smooth sailing. Before we end the video, I think it's best that we finish off all the portals. So I'm going to spend the next, hopefully not too long, probably the next hour. We're going to update, we're going to do all of these portals here. We'll do set up the other arm behind us. So we've done all the update suppression. And that way we're kind of ready for like step 2, whatever we're going to do in step 2. But let me do this first. Then we'll talk about what's next for Witch Farm Perimeter project update stuff. Okay, let me do this first. Boop. And all of our portal suppression is now done. Well, hey, it seems like all the hard work is now mostly behind us. I say mostly behind us because I'm sure there's still a lot more hard work to do. In fact, I know there's a lot more hard work to do because we still need to build up the witch farms themselves, which is actually not the worst thing to do. But the more, you know, the more tribulous, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? The more difficult thing here that's going to be left to do is going to be to build a nice decoration or something nice that's going to go around here. And I'll be honest, I haven't really totally got an idea of what I want to do. Not with the walls, not with the flooring, nothing. I really don't have any real ideas. I'm still trying to think about what I could do, but I think really when the time comes to it, I'll probably have something in mind. I think, you know, I can probably muster something together. I'll be honest, I've kind of got a design for the main building, so obviously what we're going to do, whoops, just fell into some bedrock, hold up. So the main thing that we're going to want to do, again, really? So the main thing we're going to want to do here is to build a, something in the middle that's going to house both the killing chamber for the witch farm, the storage area, and then maybe some additional farms that I'm going to use in order to make this place kind of like a bit more of a redstone factory, so I can have all of the components that I need localized in this building here, so I don't need to keep running back and forth to make redstone components, considering a lot of the redstone components are kind of like generated by the witch farm as well, like sticks for redstone torches, the redstone obviously itself, a little bit of glowstone for like things like redstone lamps and whatnot. We're going to have most of the stuff generated here, so it's nice to have a few farms that might help us out here as well. Only thing is obviously I kind of have a building to go in the middle here that's going to house everything, but I don't really have any decoration that's going to match it to go around the sides. So if I give you guys a bit of an idea, the idea is to put kind of like a tower, a witch tower we're going to have in the middle. I call it witch tower. It's just going to be a tower that we're going to have in the middle. And then I'm thinking maybe we could go for a more basic design on the walls and on the floor. But I don't really know what I'm thinking of, if I'm completely honest. Maybe we go for a pattern. A pattern would be nice, but a little bit more complicated in the circular perimeter. But I'm not 100% yet. So I'll have a think. But more importantly, I would like for you guys to potentially have a think. If you think you have any ideas of anything that would look cool on the floor, if you've worked on a floor pattern that you think might work here, anything that you think could be cool, hit me up in the comment section down below or in the Discord. And maybe I can, you know, steal some of your designs. Maybe that'd be really nice. But until then, I think we'll end the episode here. Next episode, we're going to take a little step away from the witch farm. I've been witch farming it up a little bit too heavy. I've got a plan for the next episode, but I won't reveal it just yet because I don't know if I'm definitely going to stick to that one or a secondary plan that I've got in mind. So thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that great boring stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.